time now for some business news with our business editor, Kate Moody, who's with me here in the studio. Kate, we're starting with Egypt. And days after the Suez Canal was unblocked, authorities there are seeking financial compensation.
Yeah, they're saying they could ask for up to $1 billion in damages. That figure includes the country's lost toll revenue for the week-long blockage, as well as the cost of equipment and manpower to free the Ever Given. What's less clear is who could be asked to foot the bill. The cargo ship, which was stuck sideways in the canal for 6 days, is owned by a Japanese company, but chartered by a Taiwanese group. It's registered in Panama and has German operators and an Indian crew. That sets the stage for a complicated, high-stakes battle. Meanwhile, a ceremony was held to thank the 800 Egyptian workers who freed the ship. The head of the Canal Authority said traffic was once again flowing.
So far, 194 ships with a total tonnage of 12 million tons have crossed the Suez Canal from Monday evening to Wednesday. On Thursday, 87 ships were scheduled to pass.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. A strong close for Wall Street on its last trading day of the week. The tech-heavy NASDAQ, leading gains. It closed up about 1 3/4 percentage point. The S&P 500, meanwhile, crossed the 4,000 threshold for the first time. The major European indices closed higher. They were boosted by strong manufacturing data for the Eurozone. Shares of Deliveroo slumped around 2% on their second day of trading. Wednesday's IPO saw them plunge 26% in the worst-ever market debut in London's history. Moving on to some of the day's other business headlines now. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits rose slightly last week to 719,000. The previous week's 658,000 initial claims was the lowest since the start of the pandemic. It's now been 1 year since claims peaked at an all-time high of 6.9 million in a single week. Nearly 19 million Americans total are claiming some kind of unemployment benefits. OPEC and its allies have agreed to gradually boost oil production as global demand begins to recover. The cartel and non-member Russia will take steps to add about 2 million barrels of oil per day from May to July. Oil output had been slashed last year as the pandemic ground global travel, manufacturing, and shipping to a halt. And the world's largest chip maker is investing $100 billion to expand its research and manufacturing facilities over the next 3 years. The Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company said it was aiming to meet soaring demand amid a global shortage of chips, which is affecting industries from cars to smartphones. The French government says this evening it has spent 26 billion euros to support the tourism industry since the beginning of the pandemic, but it's now facing calls for still more financial aid as the latest lockdown measures force a wave of cancellations for the Easter weekend. Hotels and tour operators are still reeling from their losses in 2020, as Ellen Gainsford reports.
The Easter holidays are usually a busy time for France's tourism industry. But the month-long lockdown could cost the travel sector 4 billion euros. It's calling for more government aid to cover the losses. This souvenir shop is going to have to close from Sunday.
On a reçu de la marchandise, donc on va déballer, on va faire des nouvelles vitrines, on va mettre en place, mais c'est tout ce qu'on va pouvoir faire malheureusement.
Before the pandemic, this hotel was always fully booked for Easter, but only 9 out of 27 rooms have been reserved for this weekend.
Chaque fois qu'il parle, on se retrouve à avoir des annulations complémentaires et derrière, pas de nouvelles réservations. Donc nous, aujourd'hui, on arrive difficilement à se projeter sur l'avenir et puis vous pouvez voir aussi sur le reste du mois, c'est-à-dire que le reste du mois, c'est totalement vide.
Down the road,
Bonjour.
this director of a holiday rental agency is trying to stay optimistic.
On a réussi quand même à faire une réservation pour ce week-end. Donc la dernière possibilité, c'est quand même de pouvoir venir là, profiter d'un bol d'air avant d'être confiné. C'est pas beaucoup, c'est toujours mieux que rien. Il faut voir le bon côté des choses.
With the travel sector still struggling after last year's setbacks, many in the industry will be pinning their hopes on the summer season.
Italy is once again trying to ban cruise ships and container vessels from Venice. The government has opened public consultations on building a terminal for outside the lagoon, far away from the city's historic centre. It's told large boats they must, for now, use an isolated industrial dock in the meantime. Past efforts to clear the picturesque canals have been overturned by local courts and heavily protested by tour operators. It's not yet clear if the latest decree will, in fact, be successful. But of course, Tom, this really came to a head back in 2019 when a cruise ship actually collided with a duck and a tourist boat in Venice.
Okay, Kate Moody with the business news. Thank you very much.